to call this meeting of the Simpson County Fiscal Court to order. We're going to ask Magistrate Scott Poston if he'd lead us in a prayer, and after that we'll have the pledge to the flag.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we just thank you, Lord, for this day and the many blessings that you have given us in life. And Father, we just, as always, we just ask that you'll be with our military, Father, our law enforcement, first responders, all them, keep them safe. Father, we just pray that you would be with the sick. Father, we just pray that you might lay your kind and healing hand upon them. And Father, the ones that have lost loved ones, we just pray that you'd comfort them as only you can. Father, everything that's said and done here today, we just pray this pleasing you. What's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Liam, Candy, I thank y'all for coming to visit with us today. Y'all been working on through the homeschool club, the government operation, and I talked with that group last week. It was a great conversation, and so we appreciate y'all being here with us today. Hopefully it won't be too boring or too chaotic. First thing, especially the chaotic part. First thing is I want to introduce, so everybody knows, because I don't have one magistrate sit. Who is that lady? This is Stacy King right here. Wave at everybody, Stacy. She said if I asked her to get up to the podium, she'd probably pass out. And so, I don't know, Chief, you got some smelling salts? We can get her back? Stacy, we're glad to have you. So, yeah, yesterday was her first day, and she said it was a great day, and it was good for us because she brought us pumpkin muffins and sausage balls. Yeah.
Appreciate the call.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it was well taken care of. There may be some still down there. Yeah. All right. We do have some gifts with us today that we're going to get up to speak. Y'all know in our last meeting we had some discussion about the whole radio communication equipment that we're working on. So we have with us today from Motorola, Robbie Smith, and then from KSP, Gary Vance, and then from Mobile Communications, MCA, Belden Perry, and Kevin Yaden. So we appreciate you guys being here. And Robbie, I think you said you would kick it off like talking about, and I do need you at the microphone. Now you don't have to do stand-up comedy unless you just want to, but if we don't laugh, then it's going to be pretty bad. It's going to be rough. So no, they're here to just kind of give a brief update, and then if we got questions about what's going on with the communication stuff.
So yeah, as we were talking to Bob, he was saying that y'all had a bunch of questions, and that's what we're really here for, is to answer those questions and as best we can, right? We're not where we wanted to be as far as the statewide system goes, so there have been delays with that, whether it be through the microwave and backhaul or just some errors within the system routers and things like that. But they're making progress, right? So the burn-in date started, I think it was back in the spring, correct? It was supposed to be a 30-day burn-in, turned into 90, and it's kind of spread because of some errors that we've located, right? And through those errors, we're correcting everything and getting it all there. So post 1 and 2 are currently on. There are some test users on it. They haven't released all of KSP on post 1 and 2 yet.
What is the location of post 1?
Post 1 and 2 is far west, so it's Paducah and then Madisonville, that area? Yeah, okay. So far west. 3 would be Bowling Green, and then 16's also out west. Those are the 2 next posts that are in line to go on, right? So we got to fix the microwave loops and do all that stuff to get you all connected into that system, and that's where we finalize everything, right? So that's kind of the progress is going. I don't have a direct timeline of, hey, we're going to be on as of this date, but we are working closer and closer to that date. The general feel is, right, that we don't want to put public safety at risk, right? We don't want to turn you guys on. Fringe areas that are covered by a couple of the towers over in, I think it was Warren County and maybe in Logan County, we're concerned with and why we don't want to just light you up and then not have that fringe coverage, because you don't want to go into those fringe areas and not have the service that you were promised, right? So our thought or our plan is to get to a point where we can light the area up, give you some test radios so you can go out and test all those fringe areas and see how the service is working before KSP gets in. Now, it's going to take some time because we've got to get the MOUs in place and get a router down here that's going to be operational to tie back in with fiber to actually light your tower up. But when that happens, we could possibly get you on a little earlier than even KSP gets here. So that's what we're working towards right now to resolve the issue.
What do you think that timeline may be? Do you have,
As far as KSP getting in town, or as far as lighting you guys?
As far as getting lighting us up and us being able to have, because obviously that was one of our big concerns in making this move and purchasing this new equipment was we had areas that you would get to that the radio communication was breaking down. And, that was our biggest goal is we don't want any of our first responders to be somewhere that radio communications are breaking down.
I think best case scenario, we'd probably do it in a few months. Worst case, maybe 6, but that's just a complete guesstimate on my end.
Is that to get 6 months, worst case to get, not on KSP, but just in?
Just lit up on your own, yes.
Were you all not anticipating this when you bid this?
No, I mean, we anticipate errors.
We spent $3 million on this, and you're a year past when it was supposed to be in.
Yes.
So did you not anticipate any of this when we bid this?
I mean, we always anticipate some kind of delays, not
Because
this kind, not this big of a delay.
It just seems to me that y'all had no idea that you were doing this. Or y'all could have been closer to it within a year, or 2 years.
Agreed. And
I mean, if y'all are in a business of putting in communication equipment, you should have had an idea of what you're getting into, instead of just taking the bid and then saying, we're 2 years into it now, and you say we may be in another 6 months, we might be, still won't be on KSP, and we might, in another 6 months, would be 2.5 years. We might have something we could test out here. That's, to me, unacceptable.
I understand, but
We've got guys, I was talking to the sheriff the other day, he's got an antenna taped on his radio, so do other guys, because they won't use the new radios because the warranty will start when they start using them. And we got new radios that we can't even hook up to a system. There should be some recourse that you all should do and do a better job than what you're doing, because, this is public money we have spent, tax dollars we have spent, and this is just unacceptable.
I agree.
Well, what are you going to do about it? I know you can
Personally,
agree.
I can't do anything about it, right? I'm not the engineers to work on it. And, I think a lot of the delays have come out of the Commonwealth, right? And we've been trying to expedite the whole build out of this system. So, all we can do is push harder on our people to get everything moving forward, right?
Well, that's the reason I brought this up at the last meeting. Like I say, Bob said, I remember because it was the last city commission election, and Ms. Bennett was on city commission that time. She's the one who made the motion on the city behalf, so that's been over 2 years, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
When we made the motion to do this. So I just, like I say, I feel this is just totally I just don't think you all were prepared to do what you bid to do, or you would have had it done before now.
Of course, the bad thing about this is that we've done paid the buck.
Yeah.
We've done spent the money. Best I remember, we give you guys about 50% down payment. And KSP, you guys need this service. You need our tower, correct? You need our tower to link all these.
You need the towers. You need the towers for your communication.
Yeah, but now, how far are we out on KSP now?
Pardon?
How far are we out far as being able to be linked together with KSP?
That's a timeline. I wish I could tell you exactly the day. Keep in mind, in 2017 is when the budget was formed for phase 1, and phase 2 of this project, which is Western Kentucky and Central Kentucky.
Gary, do you mind to be at the microphone that way? Because it is being recorded and everybody can.
Yes, yes. A few things happened. One was COVID. And then supply chain problems hit us. The router, we merged 2 units. The Q's microwave technicians worked for COT, and the communications department with KSP merged their 2 units. There was a lot of personnel issues that we had during that. There was people that left that we really hated to lose. So we had personnel issues as well with technicians in the field. Cost overruns, we've had shelters that go in our sites that originally started when we formed the budget for this at $35,000, I think, for the shelter, that is now over $100,000 for these shelters. They've tripled in cost. A lot of cost factors have hit us. The microwave system, Aviat told us that, hey, it's a breeze, we put it in, no problem. It's not been the case. There's been a lot of problems with the microwave. There's been problems with the extreme routers, the networking portion of this, as we were talking earlier. When you talk about public safety communications, our goal is to put you on a network and a system that is public safety grade. I don't want responders out there not being able to hit the towers. I don't want them not to be able to, when they press the push to talk, to not be able to talk to somebody. And it's a process that we're working through that is extremely painful for us, I'll tell you, because we're almost 3 years behind now on where we thought we were going to be. The good news is it's starting to speed up. They are starting to figure out the network issues. The microwave is moving much faster than it was. We're still dedicated for this region to be built out next because you all were the first committed add-on. So, I mean, we're working, doing everything we can to move to this point, to get you guys on as well. Right now, there's only 3 users from KSP that is testing coverage in Western Kentucky because the network is not stable enough to put everyone on as far as KSP goes in Western Kentucky, in the post 1 and 2 area.
Was this budgeted through the state or the state police?
Pardon?
Was your budget that you were talking about, is that through the state government?
Well, it's state government budget, yes, but
Okay.
KSP is the sponsor of the project. It's, it started out as the KSP communication system, statewide system.
Okay.
So I have 2 questions. They're probably more for Robbie. Just curious, because I guess the radios themselves have, what, a 1-year warranty? Or what's the warranty on the radio?
I believe they had a 7-year warranty.
Okay, but the warranty date starts the day we activate the radio.
Correct, the day you take possession.
And the day we take possession or the day we activate?
The day you take possession, I believe.
Do we already have possession of those radios?
I was told it was when they activated.
That's the reason I stepped up, because I was going to give you an update on that. I mentioned it last meeting. City police, sheriff, DTF, the Justice Center, everybody but fire and EMS has got their radios. They're programmed to our current UHF system. We don't have the 700 in them yet, but in the past 2 weeks, we've handed out to those agencies. I'll be meeting with Tim today to go over a couple of things on EMS and fire stuff, and as soon as we get those, we'll give the thumbs up and go ahead and hand those radios out too. So they're handheld radios, and for what, almost 2 years now, almost every time we get a new vehicle, we're putting a new radio in those vehicles.
So the new handheld radios work on our current system that we're on,
Correct.
but we don't have the new system.
We don't have the new system up and running.
I guess here was my question to that is, and I'm sure you're not the guy that will answer this question, but you can direct us to who can. Would we be able to extend the warranty of that radio for the 7-year period from the time we actually get on the system that we bought the radios to be on?
I can definitely ask that question.
Yeah.
I don't see
I mean,
that, I don't think that's an unreasonable
Yeah,
ask,
my
right?
point being,
Yeah.
because you're saying at least maybe up to 6 months, hope, you said hope?
Hope.
Okay. My point being, if we handed these new radios with a 7-year warranty, but we got those radios to be on this system, and we're not on this system, but they're working with our system we have, what I would like to know is, could we extend the warranty period for the radio to be a 7-year period from the time we actually get on the system that we purchased the radios to be on?
Yeah, I don't think that's an unreasonable ask at all.
And we really need to check and find out if what Bob said, he said it was when they got activated. And you're saying it's when they took possession, so there's a difference. We need to find out.
Well, I mean, they should be pretty much one and the
Yeah.
same, right?
And
When you
either way,
activate the radio to
I
go
thought
on
we'd
the
had,
system.
I thought we'd had the radios for a little while.
No, there's just been a few mobiles that go in before, they're in the last few
Okay.
weeks.
Either way, if Motorola would be, have the willingness to say, okay, we're going to make the 7-year warranty from the time you get on the system that you purchased the radios to operate on. I just know the counselor's being quiet over here, but if that were to be the case, it'd be something that we would obviously want to be in.
I think ultimately we have to have a little grace there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is, we're not without a network. I mean, it's not like we do not have radio communication.
Sure, you're operating on your legacy system right now, where we're trying to get you lit up on the new system as quickly as possible.
But you understand why that there's a concern, like, hey.
100%.
What's going on?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it could be, so 6 months, and if I came across as being hard, I apologize, it's just people have been asking me, and it is a little bit aggravating.
Absolutely.
But, you 6 months to get where we could test them in these low spots that as you call, whatever you call them there.
Hopefully, yeah.
So could it be, how much longer do you think it'll be after that before the system, I mean, a truly operational system will be up?
I will tell you what I'm hoping for, and I know hope is not a strategy. I was taught that many years ago, is by the end of this coming year, 25, not this year, 25.
End of
By the end of 25, we're hoping to have that loop built out that covers you guys. Loop 4 is in the microwave system, is what covers down here.
Would you all mind, like, every couple of months, just send the judge an email and say, this is where we're
Yeah,
at,
absolutely.
and
Yeah.
this is what we're doing?
And that's something I talked to Mr. Palmer at the Kentucky Emergency Services Conference, and we talked then and discussed being able to light up the tower so that you all can do some preliminary testing without, I mean, you have to understand, when you do your preliminary testing, it's going to be without the additional towers. It's going to help your coverage. But it would allow you to see what you are going to get from this. One of the good things that has came out of our preliminary testing with the KSP troopers in Western Kentucky, it has far exceeded everybody's expectations of coverage. The coverage has been phenomenal so far in Western Kentucky.
And that's our goal, that when
That is our
this is
goal.
operational, that we want better coverage than what we currently had with this old
Absolutely.
system. That
To
was
go along with that,
That was the whole purpose in this investment.
part of the other issue that we've had is the acquisition of greenfield sites, what we call a greenfield site, to put new towers up to augment the system and to help with the coverage. Because of the Kentucky Division of Real Properties through the state, they only had like 2 people in the office. They just now got I forget the name of it, but they hired like 4 additional agencies, real estate agencies, to help with the acquisition of property.
And it has to be a separate tower. It can't be off a cell phone tower.
Most cell phone towers, if they already have a cell provider on it, it really varies. We're not looking, generally, as a rule, we're not looking at cell phone towers, just because we would rather own the tower and have it be a part
I
of
just know some
KSP's
of those
property.
towers they build a tower and then they'll lease a spot to this cell phone company,
Correct.
this cell phone company. I didn't
And
know if you all looked
They'll
at
build a
something.
250-foot tower, and then they'll occupy the top 75 foot of that tower.
Right.
And lease out the space below, because they don't
Right.
want interference, and that's where you get into problems with KSP system. Most of
Absolutely.
their towers are built at that 250, and they're at 250.
Yeah.
Or 200.
Our standard Greenfield site is a standalone 250-foot tower with the option to go 50-foot higher, with the shelter, propane tank, generator, all that. That's our standard tower. And of course, we're looking for the top of the tower. And so that's why I say a lot of the cell phone build-outs, we don't look at them because they've already occupied so much real estate of the tower, it's not beneficial to us.
Well, I don't think, of course, this is from memory, which is, if we're talking 10 years ago, I won't be able to do this. I don't know if the counselor can. I don't recall or remember like a performance clause in the contract. It was just a contract that you would get this for this cost. So I don't know that there was a performance clause in there that says you got to do, and so I don't think we're talking that, but I would be interested in knowing the answer to the whole warranty thing.
Absolutely.
Because that could be a big deal, because if we're packing these phones or these radios around for 6 months or a year, and now we finally got the system that the radio is supposed to work on, let's start the warranty period at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that's a big ask at all. Like I said, I don't think that's I'll run that up and see what we can do.
Do you think that's a big ask? You've been quiet about that. You.
The KSP,
Me?
he's KSP.
I'd be pounding on them about it.
You've been quiet about that. I want to hear you.
I'm not Motorola. I would pound on them for that.
I'm just saying, I want your input on that as well.
This guy was Louisville Metro and KSP. He could just rough him up a little bit.
Oh, I'd definitely rough them up on the extension of the warranty.
I want to hear what you got to say.
Sorry, buddy.
For the people watching, that is a joke. We're not roughing anyone up.
Right.
Unless we don't have phone, radio service in about 6 months.
I agree. I don't think that's a big ask.
No, I really don't.
And it would be a much appreciated gesture for Motorola to say, hey, we're doing all we can, and we know we're not meeting what was the expectation.
Absolutely.
And, if that means that the radios are in your hands for a year before you actually get on the system, then essentially your warranty is an 8-year warranty instead of a 7-year.
Good deal. Yeah.
Part of what we were talking about earlier too is every part of, on the microwave side and the networking side, as each loop is developed out and the network engineers are realizing network issues, the Aviat guys are realizing the microwave issues that we're experiencing. I will tell you this, the Motorola equipment, which has been installed, has been pretty rock solid. It's the other side that we're getting all the kinks and bugs worked out right now. And the networking issue is huge. It is huge. But as we progress through the loops, the engineers keep telling us, we've got this down. We're learning every time that we run into something, how to fix it. So, again, we're hoping that as they progress through the loops, it's going to get faster and faster as they go. We're also working to get fiber to the posts. Fiber is to the posts. We're working on getting the fiber tied into the radio system as well. So there's a fiber backup for the networking. Your site has to touch the core at least once in order for us to be able to light yours up, which is in E-Town and Frankfurt. That's the 2 cores right now. And so as soon as we can get that touched and it can receive information from the core, we can bring your one site up, your new site, and then you can begin some testing and some coverage test off of just that one to see.
Gentlemen, counselor, not that you're not a gentleman. Any other questions?
None from.
Maybe a comment, we did this for our first responders, everybody's safety, and we spent a lot of money. So that's why, I'm not here to beat you up, but that's, we made that decision to spend that money with you guys
That's exactly why we do what we do as well.
Yeah, so we're just wanting some results. you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're in the same boat.
I know, I can't.
We're in the same
I
boat. We've
understand.
spent
I
a whole
understand.
lot of money as well. But again, that is, we've been pushed to put people on KSP, on the system. We've been pushed hard. And myself, I'm on the LMR side of the project. There's another gentleman that's on the microwave and networking side of the project. And both of our pushback has been, I come from public safety. I want this public safety grade before we put first responders on this network. And that's been our whole drive from day one, is make sure that the first responders will get somebody on the other end of that radio when they push the talk button.
And quite honestly, that may be why this has felt like one of those congressional hearing grillings, and I apologize if it felt that way.
Not at all.
But that is, and we made we didn't make this secret, didn't try to keep it hidden when we decided to do this a couple years.
Right.
That's the whole reason for this move, is because our current system does have dead spot.
Absolutely.
And I just think that's unacceptable for our first responders and our community.
Well, I'm the one, when this came up a couple of years ago, I knew there were some dead spots, but they said it was like coverage is only about 70% of the county. And that is, I deal with first responders on a regular basis, and that is, as the judge says, unacceptable. It's
Right.
dangerous.
On our end.
Yeah, on our end, it's dangerous for our first responders to not be able to, you push the talk button, as you say, and there's nothing but static. So I deal with those guys, and I want them to have every option available to them. So there's a saying my dad used to have, it's called, hurry up every chance you get.
All right, we do appreciate you guys coming to kind of share with us, and I know it's tough to walk into a place knowing that I can't
okay.
tell these people what they want to hear.
Okay.
But as the counselor said, hurry up every chance you get.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all.
Double time.
And y'all are welcome to stay for the entire show, or you can leave at any time you like. Well, all right. You just want to see if the rest of it's going to be as entertaining as your part. All right, gentlemen, the minutes of our November 5th regular court meeting, I need a motion and a second to approve those minutes.
So,
Got a motion by Marty, a second by Scott. Any question or discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. The next three are ordinances that will all be done by roll call. This first one is the first reading of a budget amendment, number 2, ordinance number 220.260. This is just amending revenues in that weren't anticipated when we done the budget. See, we started July, this is November, not bad to only be at number 2 at the end of November here. So we need a motion and a second to approve that ordinance
So moved.
amendment number 220.260.
Second.
Marty made the motion, Jeffrey seconded. Sydney will do a roll call.
Okay. Chandler,
yes.
Byrd,
Yes.
Poston,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Barnes.
Yes. Next is first reading of a lighting agreement ordinance number 310.31. This is Windsor Park Section 3, Phase 2. If y'all recall, sometime back, we done Section 3, Phase 1. I guess Phase 2 is now ready. And again, this is just where we give the co-op the authorization to attach to their electric bill to those customers so that they have.
So,
Got a motion by Myron?
Second.
Second by Scott. Any other question or discussion? Sydney, again, we'll roll call.
Thurman,
yes.
Poston,
Yes.
Byrd,
Yes.
Chandler,
Yes.
Barnes.
Yes. And next is the second reading of an ordinance that we had first reading in our last meeting. This is ordinance number 530.62, the, setting the speed limit on Cedar Bluff Road at 45 miles an hour.
So moved.
Got a motion by Scott.
Second.
Second by Jeffrey. Any other question or discussion? Oh no, Sydney, roll call,
Yeah.
sorry. But I get
Post.
ahead of myself.
Poston,
Yes.
Burr,
Yes.
Chandler,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Barnes.
Yes. The next item, gentlemen, is board appointments. Here as we get approach the end of the year, it's hard to believe we're getting near the end of 2024. We have several board appointments, and we'll take these by each board at a time. So the first recommendation is to appoint Sally Starks to a 4-year term to the Planning and Zoning Board of Adjustments. That term would run through December 31 of 28.
So moved.
Got a motion by Jeffrey,
Second.
second by Scott. Any question or comment? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Next is P&Z Planning and Zoning Commission. The recommendation is to appoint Gary Slager to a 4-year term that would run through 12/31/28.
So moved.
Got a motion by Marty,
Second.
second by Myron. Any question or comment? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. The next one we're going to bypass till our December meeting because there is some internal question. I'll explain it to you later. Yeah. I'm looking at Scott because he's our Parks Board representative. I'll explain it to you later. We're going to bypass this one till till December. December. All right, next is the Tax Appeals Board, and I need a motion to appoint Teresa Perkins to a 3-year term through 12/31/27.
So moved.
Got a motion by Scott and a second by Marty. Any question or comments? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. The next will be two individuals, but I think we can take them collectively since it's the same board, correct, Counselor?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the library board, and this would be to appoint Sarah Wakefield and Mark Dobbs each to a 4-year term that would run through 12/31/28.
So moved.
Got a motion by
Second.
Jeffrey, second by Marty. Any question or concerns? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Next is the Codes Enforcement Board, and need a motion and a second to appoint Betty Parker. The recommendation is to appoint Betty Parker to a 3-year term running through 12/31/27.
So moved.
Got a motion by Scott,
Second.
second by Myron. Any question or concerns, comments? All in favor, aye. Any opposed? And finally, the Ambulance Board, the recommendation is to appoint Lee McBrayer to a 2-year term that would run through 12/31/26.
So moved.
Got a motion by Marty,
Second.
second by Jeffrey. Any question or concern, comment? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. All right, next is postage meter lease agreement. It's up. We need a motion and a second to approve the new lease agreement, authorize the county judge to sign it. It is about a $30 increase from what we have been paying, but that has to do with the state contract side. It's not anything to do with Pitney Bowes or the machine or the equipment. Is that correct?
That is correct.
$30 a month,
I think it's $30 a quarter.
quarter.
Like I think it'll be, what, 190?
97.
97, we were paying 160-ish.
So moved.
Got a motion by Marty,
Second.
second by Scott. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. Moving on, we had discussion last time about county road disturbance for people that are coming in and putting in whatever they're installing, whether it be fiber or telephone or whatever they're installing, if they have to disturb or cross a county road, what we were going to require. So Bobby reached out, and you've got some information there. If you look at the application that he's proposing, you would take the part that he's proposing and attach it to the bottom part of what we currently have, which would be, I don't know, does that show up as a red line on your portal? Yeah, so everything below the red line would be added to the application process. You see the one that he reached out to the folks at Warren County, what they do. Theirs is really pretty simple. And, but anyway, this was Bobby's recommendation, and I told Bobby if he was good with this and felt like it would work, and the counselor feels good about it, then I'm good with it.
I did have a question, though.
Okay?
About in that ordinance, if you read through the ordinance, it asks several questions, which things we're concerned about. It still has the $1,000 bond, and that was a topic. Do we want to leave it, increase it, remove it?
What was
or
Warren
just-
County?
They asked for no bond.
No
bond.
And my question to follow that up, Bobby, would be this: if we're going to do this application process and go that route, do we just want to repeal that ordinance altogether?
Well, the ordinance asks for specific things that we need, because that's where it asks for the descriptions and where they state about the
So your bigger question is, do we want to leave the bond at $1,000?
I'm fine with the ordinance. I'm just questioning if you
Okay.
want to leave the ordinance,
I thought we were gonna take it out.
increase it. Well, nobody ever asked that
Yeah, we didn't, we
question.
didn't clarification on that. Do we want to just remove the bond from the ordinance? Which would essentially mean we'd have to redraft the ordinance and have it removed and have a first and second reading of that ordinance, correct?
Yes, is the short answer. The question is, do you want to remove the requirement of people posting a bond if they're doing road work? I'm not so sure. I understand in this particular case, maybe it's not that big a deal, but I'm not so sure. I'm a little concerned, and this is just me being cautious about throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And I'm, if that's what y'all want to do, then, I would do what y'all asked me to, but I'm not so sure. Obviously, the ordinance is 30 years old plus.
Yeah.
What was made sense then does not necessarily make sense now. I'm just saying, if you want to change it, that's fine. I'm not so sure taking it out altogether in the long run may be the best plan. I'm just throwing that out there. Ultimately, it's y'all's decision. Bobby, are you comfortable taking it out altogether? Or does it need to be amended?
How much more? $1,000,
That's not covering.
it's not a
it.
lot.
That's not going to do anything.
My thought is I have no problem leaving it in there if it's not enough, but it also would leave us the option, I would think, that whoever's doing the work could actually make the request not to post the bond at some point, but we would still have that option for it.
Yeah, that's the thing is, there are going to be some instances where you're going to be darn glad you have that, requirement. And just saying, and there's some instances, it's like whoop-de-doo, it's not that big a deal.
And I'm just thinking of the scope of the project. What they're talking about doing here is, if there's damage done, it's going to be minimal.
Yeah, I know, grand scheme of things.
It could be something
Yeah.
far greater, so.
So you think we ought to leave it, you think we ought to increase it, if we leave it in there?
I think you ought to increase it with leaving the option that they could request not to do it if it was something minor.
Why don't we
that felt
redraft the
comfortable with.
ordinance and make it a $10,000 bond?
That's strictly up to you guys.
And then they'd have the right, ask to waive it after that, but $1,000 is
No, that's,
Not gonna do anything.
that's a pittance. I mean, I agree with, as I said, had this little thing called inflation over the last 30 years.
Over the last two.
Well, there is that. But I'm just saying, I'm okay with whatever you all tell me. I would not feel comfortable saying get rid of it altogether without expressing some concerns, that's all.
I have no problem with it being that we redo it to a $10,000 bond.
Why don't we redo the ordinance to the $10,000 bond for the next meeting and then pass this after we get or can we pass it now and then redo the
All
ordinance?
we're really wanting to pass here is just this application process. And I mean, this group here may be bound to the current bond amount that we have.
No, I mean, as long as it's in effect, that's
Yeah.
what they're bound by.
Yeah, but
As soon as we change or vote on the ordinance, or do the first and second reading,
then it would change.
then it would
immediately
change.
after.
because it's
It
still
would
the same
change, but I still think this particular group would be grandfathered in under the existing ordinance.
What I would like to do now, though, is give this company we're dealing with now, I'd like to go ahead and give them the information, because they're actually just establishing the bid process for someone else, and they want that done by the first of the year so they can put this project for bid.
Well,
So-
then we have to, we need a motion and a second to approve this updated application. But then we'll just be bound to the existing ordinance until we redo the ordinance. So
Right.
this ordinance would stand, would be the information you would give them.
That's fine with me.
All right, so we got a motion by Jeffrey to put together the new application process here.
Second.
Got a second by Scott. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
And then any opposed? All right, that motion carries, and then, Counselor, just be,
I was going to ask Bobby, would you send me an email, just tell me, what exactly you're looking for, and I'll see if I can't revise that ordinance, okay?
you've got a copy of the ordinance.
I believe I do, yes, sir.
I've got one here if you need to.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Very good. Next, gentlemen, you see the sheriff made a request to get approval to sell the animal control truck. It's a 2012 Ram. I'll let the sheriff make his way up to address this request.
We need to replace our animal control truck. What I did about 10 years ago, we have a donation account, and I have saved up money over the last 10 years. I'm not asking y'all to buy a truck. I'm going to buy the truck. That's what I'm using my donation money for. You have to use that money for what it was given, and all this money is for animal control, and it was for the purpose of buying a truck. Only thing I'm asking the county to do, and it will help us in this project, is let us take the existing truck and trade it in on the brand-new truck. The good news is it's saving y'all from buying a truck down the road because it needs to be replaced. That's y'all helping us out a little bit. So I'm asking you to gift me the animal control truck so I can trade it in on the new one.
And the one you trade in on will be at a state contract price?
It's state contract price. We're going to have some stuff to it, and that's all part of what we're paying. We're buying it, sheriff's office is buying
You
it.
just need authorization from the court to be able to trade that truck in.
I'd like you to gift me the old truck and let me trade it in on the new truck. And I say that because here's what happens on those accounts. That money that has been gifted to us for animal control, that truck, the new truck, will be actually in the sheriff's office name. Because if we ever sell it, that money's got to come back to that account because it was for that purpose. So I'm asking you to give, the old truck is in fiscal court's name.
So we need to donate it to your,
Donate to me, we're gonna get I can tell you, just so you know what it's costing. You're putting $8,500, because that's what they're gonna allow for that truck on a trade-in, on about a $60,000 deal that we're doing here, because by the time we buy the cages and all that type of stuff. So you're gifting the truck to the sheriff's office, and the sheriff's gonna trade it in on the new truck. The new truck will, because I have to have it in our name, because I'm using that money to do it. Is that pretty clear?
I have zero problem with it. Sam, The only way I know we can get rid of equipment like that is to bid it, auction it, or give it to another governmental agency. Can we trade it in?
I think you can,
As long as we can do it legally, I'm fine with it.
you
That's the
can,
only
you
question I
can
got.
gift it to him because it's another governmental agency, and then whatever, once it's gifted to you, you're gonna have to follow whatever, this donation fund that you're talking about. I'm not gonna lie, that my knowledge of that particular topic is almost non-existent at this point. And so I think we can gift the truck to another government agency because that's what the sheriff's office is. The issue is they then have to follow whatever laws the donation.
And that's allowed. It's done all the time. Agencies trade their police vehicles in all the time.
Okay.
And if it's a stickler, don't give it to me, just sign the title, and I'll hand it to the dealership, and y'all have authorized to get rid of it. He's gonna allow me $8,500 off what I'm buying from him.
That's
either
fine
way.
too.
Okay,
No, that's fine
so we
too.
need a motion
I
to,
guess we need a motion and a second to gift or donate the truck to the sheriff's animal control account.
Thank you.
second, I'll make a motion.
All right, so Marty's got a motion.
Second.
Second by Scott.
Yes.
Sydney, is that motion as clear as mud?
What, does it need to be the animal control account or the donation account?
How does it need to be worded, Sheriff? How does your account word? Is it animal control account or or
Donation account.
donation account? I don't know how it's worded.
Vehicle line item and
Or just donate it to the sheriff's office?
Just donate it to the sheriff's office. Officially, all I need is y'all to sign the title, so I can hand the title to the guy up there. He takes so you are decommissioning the truck out of the county, giving it to me, and then you're also giving me permission from the sheriff's office to take that truck and sell it.
Just the motion, you're good with clarifying the motion to redonate the truck to the sheriff?
yeah, and one thing he did mention, we'll have a title to a new truck in the county's name when.
No.
No,
They
the
don't want
title
the
of the
county's
new
name?
truck will stay with their
Okay.
animal control account.
Yeah, we've got 3 vehicles over the years that are actually titled to the sheriff's office, but it's because y'all didn't purchase those vehicles.
But we had to pay the insurance and stuff on those vehicles,
Yes,
right? Okay,
yes. But you're getting out of purchasing.
Right. I'm fine with it.
So you're good with that
I'm
motion
good.
reading that way? Scott, you're
Yes,
still
sir.
good with the second? All right, so we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you.
That motion carries. Thank you, Sheriff. All right, next, gentlemen, is something we've talked with Mr. Thomas about quite often and a lot over the last probably year or more, maybe. And, but at any rate, we've got a motion here to approve an updated electrical inspector contract. I've talked with the city manager, and he said his email back to me was that he don't think the commission will have any problem with this, but they will have it on their agenda for Monday. So our motion would have to be that we would approve this updated electrical inspector contract pending like action from the city commission. Yeah.
I thought he was retired.
Well, he's not, and this contract, there's a few things that changed in this contract was, originally, if you remember when he started, it was under the guidance of the planning and zoning administrator, and we didn't really have a building official at the time that really manages the inspection process, which we do now. Also, he is, the whole retirement thing is this is gearing toward kind of semi-retirement. He's going to finish the 2, if you look back at
The Trader Joe's.
yeah, if you look back at the exhibits on how this will work, he'll finish the 2 that he has contracted on, and then, as needed, you see what the payout would be if if our building official says, hey, Mr. Thomas, I need you to pick up this inspection and this inspection. Now we've got a pay rate of what those inspections would be and how it would look going forward. But, he really only wanted to be obligated to finish the 2 he had contracted, and then was willing to help whatever we needed done. So we really needed to redo this contract to reflect all that.
So moved.
Got a motion by Myron,
Second.
second by Jeffrey. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Are y'all wishing at this point y'all had done got up and left? Okay, just seeing if you're still with, just seeing if you're still with us.
Just about noon, we're about to be working.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hope it ain't that long.
Next, gentlemen, would be our budget transfers. We need a motion and a second to approve the budget transfers.
So moved.
Motion by Jeffrey,
Second.
second by Scott. Any question or discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And just so the people, I mean, I say this from time to time, and I don't know when's the last time I said it, but the people that are watching as we video this is going out, I mean, there's millions of people watching us today. So it's going out on the Facebook and the World Wide Web and everywhere. But I say this sometimes so people understand. It sounds like we go motion for this, a motion for that, and they're just yes, yes, yes. These little tablets we have here, all this information gets loaded onto these tablets, like at the end of last week. So these guys have it all through the weekend and Monday before we get here. So it's not like we're just looking at something and they're just going, yeah, yeah, yeah. They've had the opportunity to review all of this information. So I know sometimes people watch, and all they do is just make a motion in a second and keep moving. Well, we've had the opportunity to review all of it.
And they didn't know they was gonna be famous, you know, up here in front of all of them.
Exactly, exactly. All right, so next are the cash transfer of $26,407.26 from the federal grant fund to the general fund. I need a motion and a second to approve that cash transfer.
So moved.
Got a motion by Myron,
Second.
second by Scott. Any question or discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Next is another cash transfer of $66,195 from the general fund to the jail fund.
Move.
Got a motion by Scott,
Second.
second by Jeffrey. Any question or discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Next, the bills and claims. So you see the bills and claims. We'd need a motion and a second to approve those claims as presented.
So moved.
Got a motion by Myron,
Second.
second by Marty. Any question, discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Next is the October financial statement. I need a motion and a second to approve the financial statement subject to audit and authorize the county treasurer and the county judge to sign it.
So moved.
Got a motion by Marty,
Second.
second. I heard Jeffrey,
That's fine.
I heard Jeffrey first, Mike.
Probably pass.
But
It'll probably pass.
it'll probably pass.
With a motion in 2 seconds.
Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. All right, moving into reports. Gentlemen, on your portal, there's some information under judge's report. I hope that y'all have got it and can see it. So, were all y'all able to read that note there? Yeah. So, basically, the gist of what happened here is at our most recent industrial authority meeting, the discussion came up about the sale of the Gann farm. Y'all know it's up at auction this weekend. And so, obviously, if y'all recall, the Adamson and Brown property that we had been in discussion about, this Gann farm lays to the east and the south of that property, meaning it's east of those two pieces of property, but then it goes south above those two and is also connected to the industrial park. And so the question came up about, did the industrial authority want to have a number in mind that they might be willing to bid? And
They did.
yeah, they did. And I guess after the whole ordeal with the Adamson and Brown property, everybody's kind of lost that appetite. And this is kind of a side note to this, but just so everybody understands here and the public watching, I had someone reach out to me about what property could be available in the industrial parks So I had our interim director, get me a list of what was available so I could get it back to this gentleman. Nothing in the Stone Gibbons Park, nothing in the Wilkie Park, nothing in the Sanders Park, and the Industrial Authority has 3 empty lots in the Henderson Interstate Park.
And they also have a client looking at the Ziegler property right now.
Yeah, but that's not the
even
industrial
industrial
park.
park.
Yeah, this is just property that the Industrial Authority has available. But at any rate, so the discussion came up about, well, what was this property zoned? And of course, obviously it's zoned ag, and what could it be rezoned to? And the city manager says, his comment was, it can't be rezoned at all because it's not in the future land use map. And then the question came up about, well, yeah, that's in the city, but this is outside the city limits. And his comment then was, well, it still doesn't matter because the comp plan has taken full effect because the county didn't vote one way or the other. I take some exception to that because we were told repeatedly that if we didn't do anything with it, that those plans would be enforced inside the city limits, but would not be outside the county or outside the city. I don't hardly know how the city government can bind the county government to anything without a vote of this body.
I don't think the city bound the county.
Right.
The statute basically says the Planning and Zoning Commission does the comprehensive plan, and the Planning and Zoning Commission is a joint city-county. They have members appointed by the county and members appointed by the city. They're the ones who started at,
I didn't get that.
neither did I. Anyway, I just love technology. Point being
He
is,
can still hear you when it's upside down.
I got to turn the damn thing off. That way I don't see it. What I'm getting at is a comprehensive plan by statute is supposed to be updated every 5 years. Now, honestly, that doesn't happen. That happens less often than it does. It should. And so they start updating the comp plan by statute. They have to do it, and they started the process. And they have public hearings, they hire people to do all the legwork, and then eventually they have a hearing, and then they decide whether to update it or not. Once they do it, it goes to the governmental bodies, and they can adopt it or not. If they do, great. If they don't, they don't. But then if it's kind of like, you think about it, the Congress passes a law and the president can sign it or veto it, but if he does neither, after 10 days, it becomes law. And so it's kind of the same thing here. Apparently, if nothing is done, yay or nay, within 90 days, it becomes effective by operation of law. So I don't think, and I'm not trying to argue with folks, but I don't think the city was the one doing this. It was the Planning and Zoning who ultimately commissioned, who made this update and this plan to the comprehensive plan. That's what's going on. But I don't think the city was binding anybody at anything.
Well, the Planning and Zoning Commission did adopt the plan, but they absolutely did not drive the bus.
I understand, but
But
without their vote, whoever's driving, without their vote, it doesn't go forward.
But I guess, so here's the thing. If it is enforced, I still feel like there's things that we need to address or redress in some manner, and that plan can be changed.
Absolutely.
Because here's the problem, and this was to Marty's point when all of this was going on. If you put together a land use map, you need to make some inclusion of what you think's happening over the next 20, 30, 40 years. And someone, because what was said was, you walk in today and say, okay, I bought this piece of land that is for sale at an auction, okay? And I bought this piece of land, but here's what I would like to do with it, can I get it rezoned? And you're told at the very beginning, there's no even, I didn't even use to fill out a zone change application because it can't happen.
Then
And so,
the plan needs to be changed, but that's done at the level at this point
yeah,
of the Planning and Zoning Commission. So you're going to need to talk to them. And I'm just saying, yes, a plan can be changed, but the people who adopted it was the Planning and Zoning Commission.
so we would need to address the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Correct.
Okay.
So we didn't vote for it, we can't say we don't
Well,
do it.
you didn't vote for it or against it.
But can we not now say we don't want to be involved?
90 days has lapsed. The answer is no.
So,
We just have to address the Planning and Zoning Commission.
so when I asked Carter Monday sitting right over there, if we didn't do anything, would it take effect, then he flat out lied to me. Because he said if we didn't do anything, it would
I don't
only affect the
remember,
city.
frankly, Marty, I don't remember what Carter said or didn't say.
That's exactly what he said.
Okay, and I'm sure the video will bear that out. I'm just saying, I don't remember what he said. That was a while back.
So we would have to address, again, we would have to address
The Planning and Zoning Commission, yes.
Because we're sitting here with 3 industrial lots.
How many buildings is available, Mason? Or is them empty buildings?
Empty,
Yeah.
maybe the same number as there is lots. And I say maybe because I think there's a deal on one of them, so it may only be 2. Interesting, and maybe interesting in not such a good way. All right, the next issue, and this is something I think we do need to do something with at some point, and at some point fairly soon. The medical cannabis issue, did y'all see how the vote turned out inside the city limits?
Lopsided.
Show of hands, I'm serious here, because I want everybody seeing this. I'm just kidding, you don't have to show me. I think the anticipation was that it absolutely would not pass. I think the thought was that it would fail, but it overwhelmingly won. And my understanding is that every local government that put it on the ballot initiative, it won, and won handily.
It won, but I think it said 7 cities in the whole state, I think, or something wasn't.
That wasn't doing it?
That voted it down, but all the rest of them.
Yeah, it was like 49 or
Yeah,
something that voted in
But
favor.
71% of Franklin, Kentucky voted for it.
Yes. And so I was on the phone yesterday with Sam Flynn, who is the executive director of the cannabis, whatever they're calling that office in the state now. So I wanted to make sure I understood something, because here, you remember, I told y'all early on, here's where we were at. We could opt out as a governing body. We could just say, we want out. We could say as a governing body, we want the public to vote for it, which is what the city does. I don't think, if it had been a countywide vote, I don't think the outcome would have been a lot different, because the same 2,700 people that voted for it inside the city would have also cast that vote in the county vote.
It might not have been at 71%, but I think it would have passed.
I believe it still would have passed. Now, what happens when it passes, because this was the question I had for Mr. Flynn yesterday. Not that it affects us, because the city's the one that done this, but we can still put together a ordinance that would zone or would establish zones that we would allow cultivator, because here's the 5 license types you can get: cultivator, processor, producer, safety compliance facility, or dispensary. So this is another thing I want everyone understanding that's listening to this. The state of Kentucky is who legalized this, the state legislature. No local government body legalized the use of medical cannabis. The state did. The state set guidelines and restrictions as to what could happen. We did have one facility here that did apply for a processor's license, but the state actually awarded these licenses by a lottery process. So I'm not really sure how they did it, but I'm assuming that they put everybody's name on a ball and said, we're gonna take the first 5 balls that spit out. I don't know how they done it. But
They had the Kentucky Lottery
But
people.
at any
says-
rate, the one here locally that applied didn't win the lottery,
Right.
so they didn't get a license to process. But here's the thing, as the counselor told us, yes, this is how it starts, but where does it ultimately end at some point down the road, 10 or 15 or 20 years? Do we want to consider to establish where we would allow these 5 license types by ordinance? And is that something that maybe me and the counselor need to get together and come up with kind of a plan and bring back and say, here's what we think would make the most sense?
I don't really think you have to worry about the dispensary part, because that'd be in the city limits. If they're gonna do it, I would
You need
think.
to be excused a minute.
Yes, but I want to say something first. I just want to reiterate what I mentioned the last time, was that nobody can see all ends. And so I said earlier, when I was a young man, a boy and a young man, I never thought I would live long enough to see this community become wet. When I was a young lawyer, about 30 years ago, I never thought I would see marijuana of any kind being legalized in the Commonwealth. I was wrong on both counts. Sir, I'll be with you in a minute. And so here's the thing. That's kind of a sobering thought, and so, no pun intended. Point being is, you think, well, that'll never happen now. Well, you're probably right, but I'm not talking about now. And so, whether you agree with it or disagree, it's been adopted by the state and city of Franklin. And I'm just thinking, I'm looking for the long road and the long view, and my thinking is, if it's here, we need to control where it goes.
But if you want to jot this down, if any of you want to jot this down so you can go look at it, Mr. Flynn, KRS 218, parenthetical B, .130. And this was the question I had for him, and this was why I wanted to know the answer to this. If you don't have a public referendum, but we don't opt out as a governing body, then we can make the restrictions through the zoning whatever we would like them to be. But once the public voted, you cannot be overly restrictive with your zoning. You have to make accommodations to allow it. So inside the city, they're going to have to make some accommodations to allow, or we can zone it, or we can be as restrictive as we would like to be.
I think we ought to control where it can be and where it, may grow. And so that would just be my, as I said, that's what I said before, and I stand by that. Excuse me a moment.
Okay. So I guess, gentlemen, do y'all want us to kind of compile like zones, come back and say, okay, here's the thought process here?
Sounds good to me.
I'm all right with it.
Pretty good. Good. Okay. All right. Don't forget a few community things going on. Lions Club Pancake Fries this Saturday at the cafeteria. Small Business Saturday is all Thanksgiving weekend. The Friday, Saturday, Sunday after Thanksgiving. The items, we got roughly 20 items, I think, on the surplus sale. The Meals Auction folks have come and gotten the pictures. We're just waiting on them to establish a date for that. And then, this is a little bit of a ways out, but I'll give all y'all a heads up. The Daughters of the American Revolution have requested to put this Revolutionary War plaque. They got granted this from the state, and y'all can look at it, we'll pass it back down. And so they asked if we find a good place here in the courthouse to hang it, and I said, yeah, I think that'd be great. But there'd be a dedication for it. It'll be in February. I'll keep y'all updated on it. And other than that, a week from Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, I want to wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully you get to enjoy some time with your family and friends. Marty, you have anything?
I don't have anything today.
Jeffrey?
We had a Boys and Girls Club meeting last night, and the new director is really gung-ho, really excited about all the new stuff that Boys and Girls Club is doing, and she's starting to do more fundraising stuff for the Boys and Girls Club, and if there's any groups or anybody that would love to hear her talk more about Boys and Girls Club, she'd love to talk to any business, any group, anybody about it, but it's getting better, Boys and Girls.
Very good. Scott?
No, sir.
Myron?
Happy Thanksgiving to all.
Sheriff, did he step out? Okay. Jailer, you have anything? County clerk's not with us today. Chief, you have anything? Bob, anything else for emergency management? John, anything with building inspections, planning and zoning? Paul, anything with maintenance?
Well, that clock still hadn't been set.
Yeah, you gotta set the clock, Paul. We got the wrong time up here. Yeah. I guess we didn't tell you that clock setting was in your job description. I'm sorry.
Wait long enough, it'll
It'll
correct
be-
itself.
Bobby, anything with the road department?
Best roads opens.
Very good. All right. Gentlemen, I do need a motion and a second to enter into executive session pursuant to KRS 61.810, paragraph 1L. Discussions or hearings which might lead to the appointment, discipline, or dismissal of an individual employee.
So moved.
Got a motion by Marty,
Second.
second by Myron. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All right, we'll take about like a 5-minute